a very warm welcome to our latest episode of Success Mindset TV. I'm very excited today because we've got the one and only Mike Winnet with me. Mike, I'm going to introduce you first of all, if that's okay. So Mike is well known for the Contrepeneurs series. He's got a large following on LinkedIn legend, if I do say so, and also on YouTube. But prior to that, Mike ran a business which he set up and sold 2.5 years later for a cool £8 million. So Mike, thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Looking forward to this. Can you tell?
Where do we start? Where do we start?
I'm going to start with some questions, if that's okay. So just introducing you there in your previous business. So can you tell me, first of all, a little bit about that business and how you kind of grew it so quickly and so successfully for yourself? What happened with that?
So I set up a business with my friends in sort of end of 2014, beginning of 2015.
Yeah.
We looked at an industry that was underserviced and there was a real chance to be disruptive. Mm-hmm. And then we pretty much did the opposite of what everybody else in that industry did to give customers a real alternative to what was out there. Okay. And then had a plan to sell that business for £10 million in 3 years' time and just work back from that goal. Yeah. Managed to sell it after 2.5 years for £8 million.
Right. What sort of business was it?
It was an online learning business where we made content for training and development people in businesses, so corporate businesses. Pretty much any name on the high street was one of our customers. So Topshop, Matalan, Halfords, Mothercare, MacArthur Glen, Trafford Centre, any of these places, the Football Association, they train their staff on cybersecurity, data protection, how to upsell at the till, cybersecurity, team working ability, communicate effectively, all these soft skills. And we had made content to help those businesses train their staff in those different subjects. So that was it. So we made content that would then work on anybody else's expensive learning and development platform. So we were a content provider that could work on anyone's system. And we just basically targeted any company that was of a certain size, and we went in, offered it on a subscription-based model, cancel anytime. We released new content every week. We didn't charge per head or didn't tie people into long contracts. And we signed up 340 corporate clients in 2.5 years and sold.
Right. And what is your success of building that so quickly, do you think, in such a short space of time? It's pretty astounding stuff.
So like, it was like the model suited that industry.
Okay.
I couldn't replicate if I had to start that business again today, you wouldn't get the same results. Okay. It's because it was the industry and sector was ripe for a business like ours at the time. So then we went in there, we did it quickly, and then we targeted people that we could potentially sell to. But we started doing that pretty much from like the first couple of months. Right. So we thought, who would buy our business when we want to sell this business? How do we get on their radar now? And we started proactively working with some of those businesses at the beginning. Yeah. And then also proactively targeting some of their client bases as well. So we had two different strategies that ran. One was like we've got really good content. You've got an expensive system. Why don't we work together and we will split the revenue when you offer our content with your system. Let's work in partnership. You promote us, blah, blah, blah. And then we had another strategy that we had with companies that necessarily didn't want to partner us, but their clients wanted our content. We would proactively speak to them and say, look, a lot of your clients want to use our content. Is there any way that we can have a content partnership? If they said no, then we would just target their clients and just basically try and take as many of their clients either away from them. So then they would potentially buy us out to protect their client base.
Yeah, brilliant. And within what you've just talked about, what do you attribute, to running a successful business? What do you think that is? I know you can't kind of package it, but, in terms of the success of that, what do you think that would be for yourself?
Like very clear on what I wanted to do, very clear on what the end looked like, working backwards from that point. Yeah. So we didn't pay ourselves for like maybe 9-10 months. Okay. In that time, Google offered us £90,000 to do a piece of work for them.
Yeah.
And we said no to it. We said no to it to carry on making content that we could only sell for £350. So we turned down £90,000 for a £350 sale because that fit the long-term plan. Like working for Google, while it looked good and we would have been able to pay ourselves, didn't fit the plan. And I think that's a problem with a lot of businesses now. Someone puts money in front of them and they do it because they think, oh, well, it's money. But if it doesn't fit the plan and it's not going to get you to the end goal you're focusing on, just don't bother doing it. There was that. We used to say, does it make the boat go faster? So if it didn't fit that plan or strategy at all, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't go and chase the new shiny things. And also as well, like I didn't know any of like online gurus or we didn't really follow what anybody else did. We actually did something different.
Okay.
So, which now weirdly has become the standard in that industry. So sort of fast forward now, what are we, 2020? So we sold that business in 2017. So fast forward 3 years, the thing that the big established companies said we wouldn't be around in 3 months' time doing what we did, they now do what we used to do.
Right. Okay.
So they've ended up copying the thing that they said wouldn't work, because what we did was quite unique. Nobody in online training would say, I don't care if you've got 10,000 users, your price is the same price as if you've got 8,000 or 20,000, or if you've got, you shouldn't be punished if your business grows. It's content at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost us as a business any more money, whether your business has got 75 employees or whether it's got 1,075. So that was why we did so well, to be honest.
Okay. Like you say, it sounds like you're working, rather than going, I'll do this, waving your finger in the air, kind of hoping for the best. You worked with your goal, didn't you? And kind of worked backwards almost, and then created that strategy.
I mean, this is the biggest thing. I speak to loads of business owners now, and I'm amazed at three things normally. Number one, they can't articulate what they actually do. Like, just tell me in like 15 seconds what it is you actually do and what you sell. Most people don't have a clue.
Why is that, do you think? Why do people struggle with that?
Because they don't know, do they? Because they're
not focused enough.
Why don't they know these things? I don't know. It's because they're too trying to copy what they see other people do. And like they're looking at like what other people do, and they want a piece of too many things. It's like, just get good at one thing, be known for that one thing, and then all the other stuff that you think you need to be doing, they should be add-ons to supplement the thing that you do really well. Yeah. In my mind. But so just do one thing really well, focus on that. But most people don't. Most people say they're an entrepreneur or they're like whatever. But what is it? Entrepreneur. Well, it's just mad, isn't it? Yeah. It's like most people don't. So that always surprises me. Okay. Then what is it you actually want to achieve? Like, so some people go, I want to sell my business for what? So 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. They always pick one of those numbers. Like, so how? Like, how is your business worth that? Most people haven't got a clue. They don't understand. So if you want to sell your business for 10 million, I would say, who are you selling it to? Why are they paying you that money? Why is it worth more than 10 million to them? So it works out that they should buy you. And then once you start realizing those things, and these are all things that we had in place right from the beginning. So how many clients do you need to achieve that? Yeah. How much should your product be to achieve that? These are all things that you need to know. Most people just walk blindly through 20 years and they work out that their business has ultimately just been, they've created a job for themselves where they are the value that if they weren't in that business, it wouldn't run without them. So if you can't remove yourself from your business for 3 months, you've not really got a saleable business. As much as people don't want to admit that, you've just created a job for yourself and you are the busiest employee in your own business, and other companies don't want to purchase that. So I think our success was because we knew it was only going to be 3 years. It was laser focus on the end goal. So all the decisions we made was with that in mind. So it was, right, we don't want to do a workout. We don't want to be essential to this business as the owners. So we needed to replace ourselves in that business straight away or as early as we could. So anyone buying our business knew that it ran without us. So we weren't the reason people did business with that business, if that makes sense. So there's lots of things like that, but most people can't articulate what they do. don't know who, why, or how they're going to sell their business, and they don't have an end goal in mind. Like, what is success? Like, is success 100 grand a year? Is success £1 million a year? Is success £10 million a year? It's like, once you've got an idea of all them things, then you can actually start being successful and working towards that end goal that you are planning on achieving.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Sure.
And it is my opinion.
It's, well, as you say, being specific and writing the stuff down and, you know, the goals to get there, isn't it? Rather than
how many people have got vision boards?
What am I?
But vision boards don't mean shit. It's like, there's no such thing as a law of attraction. There is the law of action. If you put something on a whiteboard, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, you've got to take the action. Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
You can't just sit there looking at it and hope that it's going to.
Exactly. Like, I could have gone, oh, I'd love to sell this business for 10 million in 3 years. And then what? It's like, so now how do I make that happen now? So how do I do something every day that gets me closer to that happening? So which companies do I need to work with?
Yeah.
Why would they pay that amount of money? And the funny thing is, we got our business valued by a company that said it wasn't worth any more than 1.2 million.
Right.
And we said, you don't understand this model. You don't understand this business. If you only value this at 1.2 million, you don't understand it. And then we sold it. And then they said, oh, we were surprised. We laughed you out of the room when you said you'd be able to sell it for the price you sold it for.
Yeah. So you went from that to soon after to the 8 million sale, basically.
Yeah. Well, during that sale, we got offered 7 million on the Friday, and we said it wasn't enough. And then they come back with 8 million on the Monday.
Right. There you go. So it's about, sticking to your guns. And so for your, obviously we're on Success Mindset TV. With your mindset, is it putting those goals into action? Is that how you were laser focused with that in that sense? Yeah,
but equally, I don't really listen to, there's lots of things I think which is interesting. So I never, what I do now, it's quite interesting because I do a lot of stuff where I talk about Gary Vee or Grant Cardone or Ty Lopez or Tony Robbins, all these different people. I never knew any of these people at all, never heard of them before until after I'd sold my business.
Right. Okay.
So I wasn't sat at home watching YouTube videos on how to get motivated to run a business and how to be successful. I didn't have any social media at all, bar LinkedIn, one LinkedIn profile. So I wasn't on Facebook, wasn't on Instagram, wasn't on Twitter. I was on nothing at all. All I did was focus on my business and work in my business. Like, I achieved something. And then it was after I'd achieved that thing, I found out there is a whole world of people telling you how to do it. And there's even more people sat online watching these videos thinking that the next Tony Robbins video they're going to watch is going to make them successful. But none of these people sit at home watching those types of videos on YouTube. No one you consider successful does that. They don't. They're out too busy actually doing the thing. And that's what kind of blows my mind about any of this. So that mindset thing is just true. In my mind now, if people think they're going to make it, or if they know they're going to make it, they're probably not sat there trying to find the next video to motivate them or teach them a shortcut or hacking to make it. They just aren't doing that. So that was like my mindset thing is it's not rocket science. It's all out there. There are examples of people that have been successful. Look at what they do and then take the bits that are relevant to you and then put that into practice and then actually do something. Don't try and copy somebody's route as a step-by-step blueprint guide, because it probably isn't. If you're looking for that, you're probably less likely, to be successful in my mind. Yeah, sure. I always knew I'd sell a business. I always knew I'd have my own business.
You had that vision there, didn't you? Even though you might not have had your vision board and your candles out. You had that vision there for you, but it's how you went about it with the goals and the actions that you took.
No, I just think from a kid, I thought I was going to do this. I believed I would have my own business, and I believed that I would become a millionaire through that business.
Yeah, sure.
I believed it as in I'm humming or I'm meditating or I'm.
But having that belief, that self-belief, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell people about this. I wouldn't spend my time on social media trying to convince other people I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Or people that I claim I don't care what they think, but then I post things hoping that they see it. None of that bullshit, because that is a waste of energy.
Yeah.
Motivational memes and stuff. If that's what you want to post to get your tribe motivated to take action, You are a different person to me.
Yeah, sure.
I've got no interest in that.
That was going to be how I was going to ask about how the Contrepreneur series came about. So it was kind of after you saw the business, then you started seeing this stuff bandied about.
So I'm sat there in so I sold my business. I had a few million quid to invest in different things. And then I was amazed when I started to look for experts to speak to. And then I'm seeing people telling me about what you should do with multi-million pounds. I just assumed, oh, this guy seems to be selling this as a course, or is selling advice on this thing on what to do with a few million quid. He must have done it himself. I'd be interested. And then I found out that 97% of these people that are saying these things haven't actually done the thing that they're teaching, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm probably more qualified to be stood on that stage talking about this topic because I've actually done it. And then, but I realized that the reality is I could teach you what I did step by step and tell you what I did step by step, but your results will be completely different because there's so many things outside of your control, like market conditions, opportunity that happens. There is an element of luck about it. You can do all the things that mean you're better prepared when that luck comes along, and you can do a lot of the right actions to mean that you are potentially going to be more lucky, but there is still an element of luck. We were lucky in our sense that there was a business looking to acquire subscription-based learning and development companies at that time we wanted to sell. Now, I can sell you my course for £97, and it can be a 60-step guide to how to grow, scale, and sell a business for £8 million in 3 years. What I can't guarantee is you'll get that result, because that was something that was essential in my success, and that cannot be replicated through a course. So it was just stuff like that where I just thought, it's mad. And then I was surprised at the numbers of people that were actually believing that a stranger that they'd never heard of before, that they've only seen a YouTube ad or a Facebook ad for, would actually want to be helping them out from the goodness of their heart, or teaching them something they'd never heard of before. And it just kind of blew my mind. Like, and I ask this question all the time: who do you consider to be the world's most successful business people? Like, who would you say is, like, pick 3?
Me.
Yeah. So who would you say is
Richard Branson, people like that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So Richard Branson, does he say he's doing this from 4 hours a week from his laptop from anywhere in the world?
People, like you say, it's people like that who are successful. They're not promoting this stuff, are they?
But we accept that. We'll say Jeff Bezos has Jeff Bezos ever gone, everyone working the 9 to 5's an idiot. Here's my one hack that will make you earn 6 figures, and that you can do it from 1 day a week from your laptop. No, yet all these people that are selling those dreams use Jeff Bezos as an example of someone that's super successful. He does absolutely nothing, none of the actions and habits of what's in this course. And it blows my mind that there's people out there that think that Chad, the 21-year-old green Lambo driving guy that's got Instagram ads or Facebook ads or YouTube ads, has got this one secret hack in an industry you never knew existed, drop shipping, I don't know, which fidget spinners from China, and you're going to become an eBay millionaire in 60 days. It blows my mind. This is the best way to describe it. Change the word business for any sport in the world, right? So if I now had a course that said you could win the US Masters in 90 days, even if you've never played a round of golf in your life before, it's $2,997. You would laugh and say that is stupid.
Yeah.
But now change that for
an entrepreneur.
Become a six-figure business owner in affiliate marketing or through crypto in 90 days. It's 2,997. People all of a sudden think that's possible. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you are not going to achieve that thing because, number one, you're asking the wrong question. If that's the answer to your question, you're asking the wrong question. You've not got the right mindset. You've probably not got the right attributes, ability to be successful. So it was being at these events and hearing this stuff over and over again that I just thought, wouldn't it be funny to actually buy their courses, do their courses, and see how successful I am? And not one thing that I've invested in the last 2 years has achieved anywhere near the level of results that these gurus have promised. And guess what? I actually know how to run a business. So if I can't do it from someone that's actually grown a business, scaled a business, sold a business, what hope have you got? In reality, yes, 0.5% of people might do it and be successful at this thing, but they're not selling a course telling you how to do it, turning their customers into competitors. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, I get you. And obviously I love the series. I'm a fan. And so in terms of how that kind of grew originally from what you've just said, is that, so if you look at your business, you wanted to grow it, sell it, and what's kind of happening now? Is it in terms of your own business? Obviously you're doing the Contrepeneurs stuff. What
do I do now? So I've got investing stuff. So I've got money in stocks and shares. I've got money in property. I've got a bit of money in crypto. I've got businesses like a graphic design business, a content business for other businesses. So if you want us to make you videos and content to act as lead gen for your business, we can do content marketing. I've got a podcast studio that that we rent out. We can produce people's podcasts. And then I've got the YouTube channel that makes a little bit of money, and that's it really. So now I've got I invest in stuff, and I've got all those businesses are accidental businesses. They aren't the model that I would recommend to have as a business. In fact, they don't tick enough of the boxes for me. So I am Productions that makes content. It's not the best business model in the world. It's passing trade. I make content once and sell it once, which is bullshit. You want to make something once and sell it many times. So it's an all right business, but it came about during COVID. So we set up these two businesses during COVID. The only reason I set up a podcast studio was because the podcast studio that I used was locked down and I couldn't use it. So I just built one myself, and then I offer that to other people now. So that's kind of what I do. But I've got a couple of businesses that I'm going to launch in 2021 that no one knows about yet, which is a far better business model and suits what I like doing more. And will probably be, it's got the potential to be the same as the Learning Heroes business that I had. It's similar in terms of the model. But it's in a completely different sector. So the model works in different sectors. It's just finding the right sector.
Okay, cool. Like you say, there's been a few things going on this year, definitely. So obviously the Contrepreneur, it's took you. I mean, you ended up seeing Gary Vee, didn't you? And you've been kind of all over the place exploring this. Like what kind of, just share with us some kind of just funny and juicy stories.
So Gary Vee's a weird guy in real life.
Yeah.
You can have a meeting with him if you want to. It'll just cost you $15,000.
£15 million.
Say again?
Right. A lot of money to meet with him.
Gary Vee? Yeah, so I mean, we got to see him for free. He asked us if we wanted to go over and see him. We met him. He said he'd introduce us to Netflix. He didn't bother. So that's one weird kind of experience we've had. I mean, I wrote an Amazon bestseller.
Yes.
It was a blank book. I didn't bother putting any words in it. I got it to #1 on Amazon in 24 hours. So I can claim to be an Amazon bestseller. I did that just to prove how bullshit anyone claiming to be an Amazon bestseller is.
Yeah.
It's an easy system to game.
Sure.
What else have we done that's quite interesting, I suppose? That's quite interesting. Blank Amazon bestseller. We've had Netflix approach us asking to turn The Contrepreneur into a series, and then we signed all the paperwork, and then they said their legal team has said they can't do it. So we've got issues with Netflix now because we've given them access to our content and stuff like that. So Netflix are sly bastards when it comes to stuff like that as well.
Great.
We've met some interesting people. It's been interesting who's liked what we did, to be honest.
Yeah, and as you say, because you weren't going to go down that route, were you? So you kind of fell into it, and are you glad is it kind of
Contrepreneurs?
You enjoyed the whole the Contrepreneur? Have you enjoyed the whole process? And because I know you spent so much time in it, haven't you? And just
not really. It was just something to keep myself busy, because if I'm not busy, then I need to be doing something because for my own mental health and my own mind, really. If I'm not busy, I can be quite a destructive person, I suppose. So I did it really to keep me sane, and then it kind of grew arms and legs a little bit. It's like 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. Some of the videos have done over 500,000 views and stuff, but none of that stuff really pays the bills, does it? It's all bullshit, isn't it, really? So like YouTube, I'm on YouTube. I make a little bit of money from YouTube, but I wouldn't quit your day job to be a YouTuber. Not like my age, our age, no point. But again, it's like another thing where people are like, oh, they see it as a glamorous thing. It's not. I'd much rather just run a business and no one knew who I was, like in the last one, and make money. Like make money, move in silence. It's a far better business strategy. And guess what? Out of everything I've done that's meant to be passive income and living life on my terms and stuff, none of it has got anywhere close to the amount of money I can make from when I put my head down, graft, and work hard.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to know that, by the way. Most people don't like that to be the answer. Well, because
that's just being honest, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's a reason why. So there's a book that sold 130 million copies, and it's called what was it? The 4-Minute Millionaire. 4-Minute Millionaire. Yeah. Now, if that was called the 100-Hour Work Week, how many copies do you think that book would have sold?
Well, that's it. Yeah. None.
So there's everyone's looking for that.
It might have made an Amazon bestseller, though. You never know.
It would have. Yeah, it would have, because it sold the most books. But I just think this whole social media thing's bullshit. I went to one event, and the guru on stage, to qualify for the actual product he was selling. So bearing in mind, the room had never bought his products. He was offering it free for a year as a prize draw, as long as everybody went on to Trustpilot and left a 5-star review. So that guru's now got probably 200 5-star reviews from that event for a course and a product that none of these people in the audience have bought. Now that then makes other people want to buy that course because they believe it works, but it's all fake. All this stuff's fake.
And you've said before, now when you go to the Contrepreneur events, they've got like fake people in the audience and stuff, haven't they? And
yeah. So they've got plants in the audience. Tony Robbins has a buddy system.
Right.
So he makes you stand up. Who's on your own? Put your hands up, and then a buddy joins them.
Right. Okay.
And obviously they're there to upsell. And you've got plants in the audience pretending to be customers. Excited potential prospects.
Okay.
Went to one guy's event where someone that got up, ran on stage and made a big scene saying, I want to sign up now. She was actually working as the receptionist and signing us all in at the next event 2 weeks. So I just thought I'd document all this stuff because I thought it might be interesting to some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, listen to this, right? If I knew a way how to become a millionaire in 12 months' time, I would not be spending my time selling it to you at a travel lodge in Basingstoke on a Saturday over 14 hours for 37 quid.
Yeah.
Because that isn't how real business works. If I know how to make £1 million a year, I don't go around telling people. I just go and make that money and keep making that money, unless I no longer could make that money anymore. Then I'd make my money by telling other people this is how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what you should always look at.
Yeah.
Why would you turn your customers into competitors? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's using your common sense, isn't it, and seeing what does make sense. If you just sit down rather than seeing all the vanity metrics, the Lambos and all that, it's like it's using your common sense to think, well, does this feel right? And does it look right? And it, when it doesn't in those senses.
But again, I'll go back to that point that I said there when I said, who do you consider the most successful people?
Yeah.
Right? So you said Richard Branson, I said Jeff Bezos, these types of people. Yeah. None of them spend money themselves on Facebook ads and spend half of that time trying to convince you that they are successful and why they've got authority and credibility. You already know these people. Warren Buffett knows how to invest in stuff. So Warren Buffett knows how to invest in stocks and become successful. He's one of the world's most successful investors through that. You can buy his book for 10 quid, read it and copy his strategies. That's it, right? Then you've got Chad, 19-year-old lad that you've never heard of before, who's telling you he's successful, and he knows a secret that even Warren Buffett doesn't know by watching signals and stuff. And you're willing to pay that guy $2,000 and think he's going to teach you in 48 hours. I've gone past the point now of thinking, I feel sorry for all these vulnerable people and thinking, you're probably an idiot if you are really believing that this guy that you don't even know exists, that you've never heard of, out the goodness of his heart, is going to save you from your 9-to-5 grind. His 9-to-5 grind, he's telling your stupid working 9-to-5, That's his 9-to-5 job, ironically. His 9-to-5 job is telling you not to be working a 9-to-5. Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bonkers. Yeah, I could talk about this all day, honestly. It's really, really interesting. So just
so you know, in terms of like, yes, I did it in 2.5 years. People might say, well, you got rich quick. Well, I'll tell you how.
You worked, yeah, and you worked towards those actions that you were looking at.
But not even that though. So I worked in 2 startup businesses for 6 years before I set up on my own.
Yeah.
So I saw, and I mean startup businesses as in one of them was, I was right in at the beginning. There was only 4 of us. So I learned so much about business actually doing it. And guess what? I got paid to learn. So my learning was real world experience and I got paid for it. I wouldn't have paid 12 grand for a mentorship. You know, I actually got paid money to learn everything. I saw the highs and lows, what worked, what didn't. And only then after 6 years, age 29, did I think I've got enough confidence and experience to try this. I didn't think I'd 100% be successful, but I thought I could have a good crack at this now because I'd done 6 years worth of schooling. And then it took me another 2.5 years. So that took me 8.5 years, but I was working 16 hours a day. I'm not saying don't oversleep. And it wasn't 16 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
But I was working longer hours. I was putting my kids to bed and I was working in the evenings. I was working Saturdays, Sundays. I wasn't paying myself. I saved up enough money to cover my costs for 6 months. So I could basically work head down, non-stop for 6 months and hope that it worked. I didn't have any investors, none of that stuff. So
it's as you say, people see like, oh, it's a success story, but they don't see actually what goes into it. It's everything, as you say, it's all the learning and everything that you're putting into it. And people, oh, such and such is $1 million. No, it's what goes into it, isn't it, that creates that, you know?
Well, I get that. I get that sometimes is, well, yours was get rich quick. It was only 2.5 years. And again, like it was 2.5 years of actually doing that business. And I didn't pay myself for 9 months of that time. Okay. So like I managed to save up money from the job before I quit to cover my costs for 6 months. So, I mean, I see a lot of people now going and getting investors and they're buzzing because they've got investors' money. Oh, look, and I always think you're more likely, in my opinion, you're more likely to be successful if you've not got an investor.
Yeah, because it almost gives you that safety, security. Actually, if you're doing it yourself, the hard graft yourself, I think that's where the difference is, isn't it?
But not just that as well. If you've just raised £2 million in funds for your business, you're all going to pay yourself a nice wage. I bet I would sell more than you if my salary I paid myself at the end of the month relied on how much I sold that month.
Yeah, sure.
Rather than if I was paying my money out of an investors money. And I think that's one of the reasons why. And I invest in a few businesses now. And I would say from my experience, they don't seem to work as hard as we did. But why would they? Because they've got X amount of thousands of pounds in the bank that they can pay themselves a salary from.
That kind of little security blanket, isn't it? Kind of, and that probably changes the...
You eat what you kill. That's what we used to say. It was like, if we don't sell something this week, we're all going hungry. And guess what? You can definitely sell in that scenario.
Yeah. Brilliant. So where can people find you? Where can people reach you? Just to finish
YouTube, really. So Mike Winnet, which isn't my real name. So
is it not? Really?
Nope. Really.
I'm joking.
So Mike Winnet on YouTube, Mike Winnet on LinkedIn, and that's it. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really use it. I'm not on Instagram.
Brilliant.
That's me.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you for joining me, and I really appreciate you being here today.
Worries.
Okay.
And sorry to anyone that's got a course that ends in a 7. I didn't mean it. It was just
sorry about the 7. It was just jokes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.